Thanks for tuning into the Hidden Tracks podcast. You can find us wherever you find podcasts or listen to music. When you have an opportunity, please give us a 5-star review, write a little note, tell us how we're doing. We really appreciate it. It helps us keep this thing going. If you want to reach out to us, you can find us at Facebook at Hidden Tracks. Instagram is at HiddenTracks99, and if you'd like to send in submissions or talk to us or give us any feedback about what we're doing, our email is myhiddentracks99@gmail.com. Thank you so much again for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy the show. Welcome to another edition of Hidden Tracks. I am here today with Matt from Capital VICES, Chicago-based hardcore band, metalcore, whatever you guys want to call it. Again, we don't like to label genre shit here. It's music, and if you're a music fan, you go check it out and then see if it's for you. But it's for me, so glad to have Matt here. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
So you guys just dropped a new EP, ZENITH, and I got to tell you, I listened to it a couple times. I had spoke with Rob the other day, and I had mentioned that GEMINI was my favorite song, and I've listened to it 7 more times since, and GEMINI is no longer my favorite song. I can't choose between 4 of them. So,
that's a good thing, I guess. Yeah.
So give me a little bit of what went into dropping this new EP and the labeling, the astrology naming of the songs behind it.
So I guess this all started with an idea, like basically a want to do a concept. And that came from actually before, I think, the other Matt here that I'm sitting next to, Matt Watkins, was in the band, and we decided upon astrology because our guitarist Rob, who you had talked to, is into that, and I know that our vocalist Kevin was getting into that, so he decided to present to us, why not 12 songs, and I think it was like a group idea, maybe brought up by me or someone else, to do like a split thing where we do 6 tracks on each EP. And from there, it kind of just blossomed lyrically, and the layout of how we were going to do it soon followed as well. And we just started making music, like instrumentally, and we had a fun time doing it with our producer, Scott McGinnis. Cool dude. Shout out to him.
Awesome guy.
And then I guess we were trying to do music video wise all 4 signs. So since we did Taurus, that's Earth, Gemini is air, and on the next EP we're trying to do the other 2, water and fire. And the other EPs, the other half of the calendar, I don't know them offhand. I am not the astrology guy at all. So I know Pisces is one of them, and Aquarius and Scorpio. That's about all I know. Capricorn, and what's the other? I don't know the other one. Yep.
And then your next full length, you guys can go right into doing a Chinese New Year with signs.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's awesome.
That
gives you a good
Chinese
base.
New Year.
Yeah.
Just gonna do like different animals, rat moves, like
snake, pig, whatever you can come up with.
Peregrine falcon.
So when you guys chose the songs for the first half of it, have you recorded all of them so far for the second EP, or was it hard for you to choose between what you were going to put on this and then the next?
So for the first EP, I think we did write about 9, actually, even though knowing that there were 6 tracks, and we kind of chose the 6 best ones and took the ones that we felt needed a little bit more work and kind of started labeling them as ones for the second EP. So I guess you could say, and the 9th one was scrapped. So I guess you could say there's about 2 2/3 of a song for the second EP pretty much written. And that's about all I know.
Yeah, we just wrote a bunch of different ideas, kind of tried to feel out what would fit each sign best, kind of trying to play to each of those characteristics that's kind of known for each, playing back and forth with some of the lyrical concepts, kind of music influencing the lyrics and the lyrics influencing the music a bit. And then we found the 6 that felt best for the first 6 signs of the astrological year.
Awesome. So when it comes down to it right now, we're still living in a pandemic world, a world that we're not all used to, and a world that I'm sure as a band performing and writing was a little different for you. Were you guys writing together? Were you guys able to get together during lockdowns and shutdowns and be together to write songs, or were you doing the video file sharing and wave file sharing to each other to help write the songs? Or how did this come about during, the time that we've all never seen before in our lifetime?
Well, the first EP was pretty much fully recorded for the most part by the time the pandemic had hit. There's just some finishing touches that kind of got delayed by it. And then it was really just kind of for the mixing process. But we did start meeting up a few times during the pandemic. I had started kind of getting my little crappy home recording setup back in action so that we can kind of work on stuff at my house a little bit more easily, and not really have to go to our producer to kind of demo out songs. So that way we can kind of get a head start on, more writing for the second EP.
And how have you guys handled, the situation with, as a band, a lot of your money comes from merch and being able to play in front of people. What's that experience for this past year been like? When was the last time you guys performed live or if you have recently, I know some places have been having some music but prior to shutdown, and how long did you guys stop playing live together?
I remember, it's funny that you asked, that's one of the weird dates in my head. The last time we played was March 16th or 14th, 2020. So, and I was actually thinking about that as you were asking your initial question of quarantine affecting our behind the scenes activities. And I noticed that it was very downplayed last summer almost. Nobody took it that seriously. We were still doing things like he was saying, finishing touches and meeting up with masks sometimes. Most of the time, I guess, actually. And then it got serious, where we were getting 10, 12% positivity rates, and before the vaccine had hit, and it was pretty much not getting together at all, or very sparingly. And we've still gotten together, but when we do get together, it's actually about 2 weeks apart. And I guess that's something we agreed upon for now, just because of the uncertainty of contracting anything. 2 weeks seems to be the getting over or finding out if you have it, time frame.
Yeah,
I guess I should say. So, we've been getting together sparingly. I wish it was more. I miss it greatly. I just miss jamming because, I'm getting better at drums, doing the things I do on my own. But, it's just, I don't know. There's something about getting together and having multiple people just vibe out and, play something very tight, and it's awesome. And yeah, I miss things like that.
It's so much easier. When you have, physical, you get, no matter what may be happening, you can still feel something from someone else being in the room than practicing by yourself. This podcast started out in front of people and being able to sit down and talk, and everything took on a different way of having to figure out when a person may stop talking. And it's so much harder, and it's a way of life. And then when you're back in front of somebody, I did one recently in front of someone, and it was like learning all over again now that I'm in front of someone. I'm like, this is crazy. I don't how are things going to continue, and what if it happens again, and what if the vaccine really doesn't work? I got my first shot this morning, so fingers
Nice.
crossed that it does work. But I mean, I feel for you guys, and I feel for you guys as a band, and a band that can put out something as tight as you guys do in the where I think you picked a very complicated, I'll call it genre of music to go into. I think when it comes to, I'll call it metalcore, or it's very complicated, and there's a lot of things that go into it, and to be apart and to not be playing together all the time, I'm sure that's got to be frustrating.
Yeah, definitely.
Something you miss when it's not there, I guess. As weird as that sounds, I'll appreciate it all a lot more.
Yeah. So I want to find out a little personal information. I'll start with you, Matt Lathan, drums. And I will ask, there's a time in your life where music changes for you. And the biggest change usually comes when you're a small child and you hear something that's not Barney or Sesame Street or something off a Disney soundtrack, and it just completely takes you away to a different place. Do you remember the song you heard or the band you heard that completely changed you as a child to find out what music was, other than sing-along songs and stuff you sang in school and like band and stuff?
Two names come to mind. The first name would be like the very first, like, I would consider like heavier rock band that I got into, Linkin Park. I bought like Hybrid Theory when I was like 8 or 9 from FYE, and it was for the song In the End. Like, it was literally for that one song, just because I love that one so much. And then I started like bumping the other songs, and I was just like, oh my God, this entire CD. Wait a second. And they just had a good formula for that. And that was like where I branched out and started listening to, I think that was when I was that age. I think I had like listened to that mainly actually for like 2 years without like branching out into anything further. It kept me entertained for that long at that age. And then I branched out into what was like our new release Minutes to Midnight from them. And then I found Meteora, and I was like, oh my God, like Meteora, why did I not check them out like 2 years ago?
You slept on Meteora?
Yes. It's a shame to have said I slept on Meteora.
Damn.
Yeah, first two albums are the best from them, but arguably Hybrid Theory is better just because it's more songs and they're all bangers. Like, I'm not necessarily a fan of like, what is it, like Nobody's Listening on Meteora.
Meteora was cool, but yeah, I mean, I think Hybrid Theory, it really had that lasting impact and was far more influential.
Yes, same. And then the second name, at least artist-wise, that came to mind was the first, like, I would say, like, actual, like, metal song where it incorporates, like, some shredding and some, like, complicated double kick drums and not just new metal basic drums, was Census Fail. I think it was, like, Lungs Like Gallows off of Life Is Not a Waiting Room. And I heard that, and then Attack and The Devil Wears Prada all came from that, and then Bring Me the Horizon. And it just, it cascaded into, like, the whole genre that existed at that time. And I started playing drums to all of them. But those are the two artists I would say.
Yeah, it opened the floodgates, as you will.
Oh, entirely.
I mean, when you find something that piques your interest like that, it's crazy the rabbit hole you can go down to find stuff that is similar but different. And
yeah, in like a year and a half span, I went from playing like 3 Days Grace to like Lamb of God or something like that.
Who are fucking awesome.
Yes.
So is that what brought you to drums? to playing drums? Was it hearing that, or did you have, there's the quintessential story that's told here so often where it usually starts with somebody having piano lessons and then they move on to, something that they want to do, not they have to do.
I wish I had more piano lessons and then went into drums, but I played saxophone in high school and I always wanted to be, I played saxophone since 5th grade, but I always wanted to be a drummer. And for my 12th birthday, I got one, just basic, like 2 crashes, hi-hat ride. And then I eventually bought like a China and I still had a single pedal, but then eventually I got a double kick and it was like,
life-changing.
Oh yeah. The double kick was like, oh my God. And I got really good at that because I was playing to like Miss May I tracks, like right off the bat.
So listen, hey, you could have went down the Kenny G road. Glad you didn't. But that's
I didn't.
awesome.
I didn't. There's only a little bit of sax on the EP.
I want to see that alternate timeline where Lathan becomes a saxophone player.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's still something to fall back on, right? I mean, you still can't forget that that's what brought you to music, right? You can't forget that saxophone brought you to. You never know. Listen, we may not know, and your bandmates may not know, and you may not want to tell us, but you may go home and you sit in your room all night and write tunes on your saxophone, and you could be the next Kenny G. Who knows?
Oh, they would know because like I tried to write a saxophone solo for Cancer, and like it ended up not being exactly what I wanted, just because I was like, wow, I am incredibly out of shape.
Hey,
like I haven't picked it up since senior year.
Hey, that had some cool layers.
6 years ago.
The man Kenny G just got a board game called Keeping It Saxy, which I think is fucking amazing.
Oh my God.
It's a fact. They sell it. I saw it in Target and I took a picture of it.
Heck yeah.
I'm going to need to look into that.
Yeah. It's called Keeping It Saxy with a picture of him on the cover. It's fucking unbelievable. So how about for you, Matt Squared?
Yeah. I'd say my love for music probably started when I was like 5 or 6, just playing with Legos in my parents' basement and listening to my dad would like put on one of his like Beatles vinyls for me. So I would just listen to those front to back. And so that I developed love for the Beatles at a really young age. And then I started branching out into other music. I didn't really find like real rock music again until like maybe 5th grade or so. And then it was probably, I don't know, hearing Crazy Train for the first time is always a moment.
It's a moment every time it comes on. I said if I was a professional wrestler, I would have came out to the beginning of Crazy Train. Like that, I'm like, that's the beginning of any song, which is
yeah, and that was definitely one of those. That was one of my early guitar songs. Now just sit and practice that until I actually got it up to speed. And then I started listening. I think my friend introduced me to As I Lay Dying, and I was like, what is this? And that introduced me to like hardcore music.
I mean, it sounds like for going down that hole to what you guys are doing and your sound, I mean, to have that influence early is awesome. I mean, I remember when I was a kid, the first time I was introduced to something that was completely heavy off the wall, and I don't want to date myself, but one of the first hardcore things I ever heard, and this is in the 80s, and guy that I was working with, I was washing dishes when I was like 12 years old, and he had a tape of Metallica's Ride the Lightning. Nice. And I was like, what is this? And he's like, this is metal, man. I'm like, this is really good. I like it. And then he's like, tomorrow I'll bring in something else. And he brought in Sepultura's, a Sepultura tape. And that just, for me, I was just like, are you fucking, there's music like that? I don't have to listen to Skid Row every day, even though Skid Row Slave to the Grind was pretty metal. But like, I don't have to listen to the hair metal anymore. Like there's other stuff out there. And it just opened up my eyes.
Yeah, dude, I love those albums too. It's really kind of opens up a whole world, and then you start diving down that hole. And
it's hilarious because the third Matt actually would probably prefer Skid Row every day over like,
Hey, listen, Slave to the
over a
Grind
lot
is a
of things.
fucking very metal album. Like I still put on Slave to the Grind. I'm like, this was pretty metal. Like, it's really good.
That's great. It's a classic. That's
So,
yeah, it's good.
Okay, yeah.
So when you both of you, whoever wants to take it first, when you decided to play music, was that? So I'll go with Mr. Lathan on drums. Was that where you wanted to go when you started playing music? You're like, this is what I like, so this is what I want to play.
Yeah, I definitely had a large infatuation with the metalcore thing. I mean, at first it was rock. Like when I first got the drum set, I struggled to keep up with Back in Black. Like that's where I started. Just learning those really boring drum beats that are all the same in AC/DC. And once I got there, I was actually able to start doing like easy, like Linkin Park, 3 Days Grace type stuff. And then when I found like Still Fly by the Devil Wears Prada and like Attack and Of Mice and Men and all that stuff, I wanted to play that stuff. So, yeah, eventually it was all metalcore, and I think it has been that way, with the exception of me also doing deathcore stuff too. Until like maybe about a year or so ago, where I've kind of wanted to do, or at least learn like something else, like either like hip hop or maybe a little bit of jazz influence. Just something to broaden my go-to kind of thing, I guess I want to say. Yeah, my repertoire, and just, yeah, I always want to progress as a musician. I don't want to stay stagnant. That's lame.
Yeah, and I mean, learning jazz drumming is very. I mean, that opens up to so much other stuff, to being able to play funk and soul and putting together R&B beats, and I mean, it's pretty. To not stay stagnant and to broaden your horizons is a great thing as a musician, and I like to hear a lot of people just stay in their lane.
Yeah, I've been I do have like my own drum YouTube channel, and I do some pop songs, and then I also do like metal songs. So I have 2 up there right now, and I'm gonna put another one up there. But yeah, I like, and most of the pop songs I would consider like hip hop. I kind of made it a little bit of like a hip hop mixed with rock thing, but yeah, I think I'm trying to branch out more a little bit. Looking into getting like more hi-hats and stuff, so I can do the hip hop thing easier, like add hi-hats to my drum set and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, it's just fun.
That's
just
awesome.
Fun.
Then
maybe I find fun right now. Like the metal thing's fun too, but sometimes it gets a little old. I've just been mainly practicing, like without playing drums. Like my drums are set up, but I just sit there and practice and try to get my timing and my muscle memory down.
That's awesome. So, Mr. Watkins, when you got into metal, was that for you the same thing, to stay, or because I know it's very hard to find a group of people that want to always play the same type of music, and when you're getting into playing music, what was it like for you?
I mean, once I found it, I definitely developed a fiery passion for it. All through high school, this was like right around the time of like LimeWire and BitTorrent. So, what I couldn't buy, I would go online and download, and just exposed to the vast amount of bands and like subgenres there were out there. So I definitely like dove down the hole early, and it was something that I could never really get out of my head. There was like a short period in like my early 20s where I didn't listen to metal as much. But I mean, I came back around to it, and it's my first love. So I can't quit it.
What were you listening to when it wasn't metal?
I don't know. I got into a lot of rap and a little bit of pop.
Okay.
A lot of alt rock, indie.
Okay.
And I still like a lot of that too, but
like some Citizen.
Yeah, I love me some Citizen.
All right.
I hear some. I hear some judgmental tones coming out of you back there, Mr.
It's sarcasm.
Yeah.
It's sarcasm. I was also just curious at what he was listening to, because I mean, I listen to like mostly like pop now as well. Like I'm not blaring metal in the car, even though it does make you feel like you're like 10 times more jacked than you are. Just like staring at people when you just hear like just chugs. But no, it's usually
blast beats coming from the Prius.
Yeah, right. But it's usually like pop now. Yeah.
So I will ask you then, Mr. Lathan, and I'll call this as I call it a guilty pleasure because it's something you think people wouldn't think you listen to, or you may be a little embarrassed, even though it's okay to own it. I get older in my age, but you still have that 1 millisecond when somebody says, "What the fuck are you listening to?" where you get a little apprehensive, but then you just come out and say, "Fuck you, I like it." What is it that someone would be really just like, "What are you listening to?"
I don't know. I have 2 Justin Bieber things in like my recently played. I'd be okay with admitting that. I got Miley Cyrus too. There's like one song that sounds like 80s. Like I'm a sucker for like 80s pop and rock.
Okay.
Not hair metal. I will agree with you on that. I would probably rather listen to. Actually, no. I might prefer hair metal over regular metal in the 80s. Oh man. See, you did make me hesitate now.
See, right? And that's what the question's meant for. Because
so many people are going to judge me. I also got Phil Collins, like in my recently played. I was jamming that today.
Listen, Phil Collins, the fucking genius that he is, can't be considered a guilty pleasure. Phil Collins. We did a whole Hall of Fame episode where we kept going back to Phil Collins because we kept realizing, we're like, this motherfucker has never been even nominated for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Phil fucking Collins, like, how big of a douchebag is he?
That's how you know the Hall of Fame is a joke.
Yeah, like you got Gabriel and Genesis as one. You know, he went in twice, Gabriel, because he went in with Genesis and he went in as a solo artist. But Phil Collins, who face values is one of the greatest albums of all time, is not it. It's crazy.
Insanity.
So don't ever tell somebody that's a guilty pleasure. That's called a pleasure.
It's called taste.
I also got like Harry Styles. I'm just trying to give you like the stuff you would not expect, you know.
No, listen, you gave it to me with Bieber and Miley, so listen, you're off the hook. You just kept digging your hole a little deeper with hair metal, and so that's fine. And listen, there was a lot of hair metal, and if you like hooks, I mean, hair metal had it. I mean, they had hooks, and that's what sold music, man. That's hooks and harmony, and even though they were saying absolutely nothing and it meant nothing, it was still viable at the time, I guess.
I mean, I think that describes metalcore choruses too. So, they probably owe that to.
There's some pretty poppy ones, like some really heavy bands that got some like really poppy lyrics. So, yeah, I might have to agree with Watkins.
Yeah. How about you, Mr. Watkins? What do you got that would be considered a guilty pleasure or something someone wouldn't know that you listen to?
I love Lady Gaga. I've been a fan of her for a long time. Never seen her live. I mean, I don't know if I would shell out the money for tickets for that kind of show. But, yeah, I think she's amazing. I love the music she makes. I love the duet album she did with Tony Bennett. I mean, I think she's just all around an amazing artist.
She's extremely talented. Extremely talented. And that's what sometimes for me, when when you get like a pop star, like Lady Gaga was a huge pop star, and I don't know if it was the meat dress that made her, or like
I remember that.
like and that's my and the same thing with, like, for me, for Katy Perry, I go to it all the time. Like, Katy Perry's got fucking chops for days, and she didn't need to have, you know, fucking ice cream tits in a video. Like, she didn't, like, and I don't know where that comes from. I don't know if
I got
that's
a bunch
somebody.
of Katy Perry too. Yeah, that just reminded me.
It's crazy. One of my favorite all times is Pink. Like, she's got, like, fuck's sake, like, she writes awesome shit, and she can sing for days. And if you can do that, that's you know, for me, is unbelievable. And I don't mind ever saying that. But you still get that.
Yeah.
If Pink was playing in my truck when I picked up my friend and he got in, I know he'd give me a look, and for a millisecond I'd be like, and then I'm like, so the fuck what? Listen to it.
Pink has an amazing career. She's like stayed relevant for a lot longer than most other pop artists, to be honest. Like, she's had a long and like pretty successful career. She didn't like fizzle out like a lot of other ones did.
Yeah, and I think it's because I think it's kind of like what Lady Gaga does. She changes things up. And I think that's what you have to do if you want to stay, you know, relevant. I mean, Harry Styles is doing it now with, like, you know, he's bringing some 80 like petty tones into some of his music, which, you know, you can start out in something, but to grow and change things up is huge, you know, to stay relevant.
Heck yeah. Those are some catchy songs on that album.
So I will ask Matt Lathan. This is a tough question, and I call it a bullshit question. It's a bullshit question because I know it's hard to dial it in. But if you had to pick a favorite band, if someone came up to you and said, "Who's your favorite band?" You know, before they can tell if you're lying or not, who would it be?
This is actually kind of easy for me right now, so I'm going to say Bill Murray, and that's my final answer. Bill Murray, the ex-Attack vocalist from the first two albums. He has like I don't even know what to call it, post-hardcore.
It's like
esque.
It's like post-hardcore, vaporwave, like
sad boy.
Yeah.
Alt rock.
Yeah, emo. We can call it emo.
Yes.
Yeah, basically.
It's very interesting, and I think it's like some of the catchiest shit in the world.
Awesome. That was easy. How about for you, Mr. Watkins?
God, favorite is so hard. I mean, if I really just had to pick one artist to listen to, I mean, probably Opeth. I mean, I listen to the album Blackwater Park front to back at least like 20 times a year, every year. There's some songs that
it's once every other week.
But yeah, there's some songs in there that just like really struck me as like, this is like what a great like piece of music is. Like, this is what I should strive for.
All right, awesome. That people usually take a long time to answer that, and I love that you guys just right into it. That's awesome.
We know what we lack,
and that's a good thing. Another thing, if there's a band that you constantly forget about, but every time you hear it, you forgot how awesome they are and you want to listen to them more, do you have somebody that, I mean, and this recently happened to me the other day, that's why I'm asking this question. If there's a band that you hear something from and you're like, man, I really need to listen more, I always forget about them and I love them.
Oh, okay, that one's a tougher one.
Yeah. Mine the other day was Rise Against. I heard a song and I was like, why do I always fucking forget how good they are? And I don't always listen to them.
Off the top of my head, something that I think recently I noticed was last night actually was Beartooth.
Okay, yeah, they're fucking awesome.
But I do listen to them a little bit, so it's not even like necessarily the perfect answer for the question. I don't know.
That's all right. Listen, hard-hitting questions here. Dan Rather's behind me feeding me questions, so.
I don't know. I guess the only answer I have off the top of my head is Catatonia. That's like a band that I remember discovering like 10, 15 years ago. And like every couple of years, I'll put on one of their albums. And then I end up like keeping that on repeat for the next 2 weeks. So that's probably what I got.
Okay. So I got a question about you guys performing in a Wendy's. First thing I have to say is, what the fuck? Second thing I have to say is, how did it come about, and how did Wendy's okay this?
So this came about because we were on our way from our Charlotte, North Carolina show to our Nashville show in Tennessee. So we were going basically directly west. I think about 6 hours in, someone had an upset stomach and had to A, poop their pants, or B, we stop. Shout out Andre. Sorry, threw you under the bus there. He didn't poop his pants, so I didn't throw him under the bus. He was okay. But we stopped at what we thought was going to be a gas station. There was no gas station. So the next closest thing we saw was, oh, look, a Wendy's. Let's go there. So we went to the bathroom. We all went to the bathroom. We were like, hey, we're here. We're stopped. We're ahead of schedule a little bit. We could even post up here for the night if we wanted, but let's just grab something to eat and go. And so we all got something to eat, and we were sitting there talking in this like basically empty Wendy's. There was maybe 6 people in it at the time other than us, and it was a big lobby, so it felt empty. We were just joking around. We were like, yo, we should just play here. Like, it's a pretty big place. I bet it's bigger than like the stage at the next show we have, because they had all been pretty small. I mean, we had good turnouts. Like the show the night before, we had like 40 people and made like $700. It was awesome.
That's awesome.
There's just some cool local bands and everything like that came together. But Richard from McKenna, the other band we were touring with, decided to take it to another level and actually ask the manager at the time if we could just play there. Like, he was just shooting the shit with her up at the register, because I think he wanted a drink or something like that, and he asked her, and she literally was like, sure, why not? Let me just ask my like regional manager. And he was like, wait, are you serious? And she was like, yeah. And he like ran over back to us. He's like, guys, we can play here. And we were like, no, we can't. What are you talking about? And he's like, I just asked the manager, and all she has to do is get approval. And we were like, okay, I'll believe that when it happens. And like, I was like, that's interesting. All right. So I was kind of like a little bit like curious, and we're watching her on the phone, and we saw her get off, and she was just like, yeah, she don't care, go for it. We were just like, whoa, wait a second. I was like, we like started looking around. We're like, how are we gonna do? We don't have a PA for mics. Like, how are we gonna actually legitimately do this? So we started like discussing, and I think after about 3 or 4 minutes, we decided that the vocalists would just hold the phones, so that way they were closest in proximity, and they could just like belt a little bit, and the instruments would be behind us. And it actually ended up working out like better than we thought. We took like a video with the camera, like not on Facebook Live, like how it originally happened. We took it with the video to make sure it sounded decent, and it wasn't half bad. We're like, not ideal, but obviously like a PA, and have someone else film it, like our videographer for the tour. But we just went with the selfie kind of thing. And yeah, I mean, the whole time we were loading up, I was freaking out. I was like, there's no way this is happening. Like, are we actually doing this? I'm setting up my drums in a Wendy's that's open. It's open. There's people ordering freaking Baconators behind me as I'm sitting there going like, does my China sound good? Yep, sounds great. Like, oh, sorry, continue with the order, guys. Like, yeah, it was It was a wild experience. I was playing for both bands that tour, so I just had my drums set up like the whole time, and then yeah. And then that happened. We did the live stream, and it got like a decent amount of attention at first. Like, you know, we were streaming, and usually like you'll get like 3 people watching your thing, but like all of a sudden there were like maybe like 30 or 35 people watching, and they were like, wait. They're like, are you kidding me? You're in a Wendy's right now?
Is that a
like,
Frosty machine behind you? What the fuck is going on?
You can just see it behind them, like eat fresh, good square patty, whatever the heck it said behind us. And they were like, wait, that's actually a Wendy's. And in the morning, we got a message from Alternative Press, Harangue, and it was a surreal experience. We were all hungover that morning in a Planet Fitness parking lot because we went to the bar after that and celebrated playing in a Wendy's. And then and it just kind of snowballed from there. I actually had to turn my phone off because we were tagged in like 9 different big pages, like with articles, like tagged, like they tagged our names. So like every comment I was like getting, like it was like literally every 45 seconds, ba-ding, ba-ding. I was like, oh no. And some people some of the comments were hilarious. Someone was like, I'm going to go get my gun. We were like, holy shit, dude, what the fuck? Yeah, it was a crazy experience. It was fun. Definitely good for a first tour. Successful.
Yeah. So is that the weirdest place you've ever played or the coolest place you've ever played?
Probably the weirdest.
Okay.
Not very good acoustics, you know. It wasn't built for sound.
Yeah, you know,
it was built for frying.
Yeah, brown tile potatoes. Floors aren't good for kicking up sound.
Yeah, no. I had to play pretty quietly, so some people were just like, the drummer's barely hitting it. I'm like, dude, if I actually hit it, you would hear nothing but me. Like, nothing but me.
So speaking of tours, do you guys have anything planned for when we kind of get back to normal? I mean, I know some places are starting to let people play. I mean, I know I just made a big investment by buying tickets to Furnace Fest in Alabama in September. For it to hope to happen.
You're on the Fit for a King Day? I saw them at that, I think.
There's the lineup is
insane. Pretty sick.
Yeah, it's sick. I'm going all 3 days. Like I was like, if live music is coming back, I'm going to break it in the right way with a fucking 3-day festival with fucking everyone I love.
Well, no tours planned, unfortunately for us.
Kind of waiting to see on the rollout of vaccines and stuff. I think seeing where shows pop up.
Yeah, I think we're probably waiting till the vaccine rolls out, and then I honestly, once we all get vaccines, I'm gonna propose like hosting something for us with some cool bands. Hopefully we can get back into the swing of things with that, because I do want to start playing our new stuff, because I'm not gonna get any less tired with it over time.
Yeah.
Like, as I don't know if you write your own music or have your own products. I'm sorry, I never asked. I didn't want to assume, but it's like by the time you are playing your stuff, you've heard it 600 times.
Yeah,
and
you get tired of it.
That's only one song. Like, imagine the 6 songs. I mean, it's like 3,600 times of the whole album. Whatever. I'm tired of it before I play usually.
Yeah, I mean, by the time you release something, you've played the song so many times, you've rehearsed the song so many times, you've listened to the mixed master so many times before you're like, okay, yeah, let's release it. By the time you go to get to play it, you're like, all right, because that's usually what music is. You're when you're creating new songs and you're playing live, you're funneling in some new songs and playing them for the first time live and getting a feel for them before you record them. So you're not really sick of it, but by the time you release the record, you're like, for fuck's sake, man, I'm tired of this.
Practicing is going to be interesting, I think, because we haven't yet on the new stuff as a band, except for a while back. We did a little bit of, we can play TAURUS, but we did a little bit of GEMINI, and that was pretty rough. But it was only like 3 times in total, I think. But we'll get together and practice these things before we play any shows.
Get nice and tight.
Yeah, but I think we're waiting until we all get vaccines. At least we are going to implement a practice schedule here soon, I think. Now that everybody's schedule has seemed to kind of calm down, or at least gain some regularity since COVID.
Yeah, and
That's where we're at.
That's what I mean. For an everyday job, I have to travel, and they're telling me I may have to go across the country, and I was like, I'm not going anywhere until I get the vaccine. And
Right.
it's like, come on, guys. What? I understand that things are getting better, but I'm not. I want everyone around me to be safe. So I need to get the vaccine. My wife needs to get it. My parents got it, thank God. And so I'm just like, let's hold off. This isn't something that's a little bit of nothing going on. So and it's things are happening a little bit faster now, which is great.
Yeah, the vaccine rollout has been pretty surprising to me. Like, it's actually happening a lot more efficiently and better than I thought it would. I mean, obviously, there's only a small portion of the population that's been vaccinated, and from what I've read, I think we start reaching herd immunity levels around like 60 to 70%, depending on the type of virus. But yeah, I mean, it'll still be a bit before we reach that and can kind of start to relax a little bit. I mean, stuff's opening up, and it's good to go out and actually do stuff as long as you're wearing a mask and not getting up in other people's business. But but yeah, we really can't be too careful.
My favorite thing is that it's kept the close talkers that usually annoy me away, which is good.
I think of that, was it the South Park episode where Cartman's running around with like a 6-foot stick and he's just poking at people to keep them 6 feet away. I kind of want to do that.
Pandemic special, the first one.
So this is, combining the two, your EP, this is kind of your third release in, a fairly short period of time, 5 years, I want to say, right? First one came out in 2016, I believe.
Yes.
It's a pretty good pace to keep putting out music. I mean, how do you continue to do that? I mean, it's not like your Yeezy dropping or Drake dropping an album every fucking month, which is just stupid because most of them aren't that good. Where I'd rather you take your time and make something great. Do you think you're going to keep up with a frenetic pace like that, or once things open up and the second EP drops, you're just going to go out and push what you got and slowly come up with stuff?
We don't have much planned after the second EP, but the idea is to release the second EP within ideally 18 months after March, or I guess April. So like 18 months from now, but it's not like a hard deadline. It might be 2 years, 24 months or something like that, just because of how hard it's been to get together. I don't want to necessarily rush any release either. I guess exactly for the same reason you put it. Like, I just want to take the time to do it right and release something of quality without sacrificing too much or at all.
Yeah. So,
but it is difficult. I do have to. I guess I don't have to, but I guess I feel the need to sometimes just keep up with people in my band and just make sure we're always like thinking about that kind of stuff and thinking about the near future, if not the big picture as well. And they do, and I'm not saying that they don't, but yeah, just trying to at least move forward. I don't like being stagnant is the main thing. Yeah, I would sum it up as.
Yeah, it's good to keep momentum. I mean, I think like we're probably trying to shoot to have a release every 2 years. Mm-hmm. I mean, if stuff took a little bit longer, it's better to, keep it in the oven for a little bit longer, make sure we're satisfied with it before releasing it. But yeah, it's definitely important to keep up the pace and, keep coming out with new material. Keeps things fresh, both in a live setting and, for back catalog, allows us to try new things. And I mean, this EP was the first one with 7 strings and a much lower tuning. So it definitely kind of opens up a lot of options in the future, both for this next EP and for the stuff after that. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I think the sound quality will improve pretty much for the next EP, because we have found some people with some like niche skills. I have a friend who's like really good at recording drums, so I think we'll be choosing a little bit different route recording final stuff, so that way it's just like sonically a little bit improved. But yeah, it's going to be hopefully within 2 years.
Cool. So I'm going to circle back to something where we started on your musical history, because it's a question I ask a lot and I didn't get it in. I forgot about it. But you had brought up how you went and bought Linkin Park for one song. And then you realized everything else was awesome. And we now live in that world of, I call it the fucking singles world, where people put out a single every other month. And for me, it's good, but it's also really bad, because of the simple fact that you put out one song. Like, I'll hear a band and I'll be like, wow, that song's fucking awesome. And I go to look up stuff and they have 3 singles out. And like, that's it. And then I'm like, I want more. And then I forget about them. Do you guys take any of that into account, especially in today's day and age with algorithms to get on playlists? And, are you cognizant about when you're writing something that, listen, you were making a concept album and you're putting it together? Were you thinking along the lines like, we got to drop one song this month, another song next month?
There is a little bit of that, yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think because of the way of how social media works and like reach and exposure, I think, we don't like want to be, we don't want to be one of those bands that like just puts out like 3 singles over 5 years. But definitely as part of like promoting an EP and, testing the waters, getting your name out there a little bit. I think it was important for us to like put out 1 or 2 singles. But I mean, so we, even when we released TAURUS, we had everything else, I think, almost completely finished recording. I think we were just like in mixing our mastering phase for the rest of the songs at that point.
I don't think there were final drums, but that's about it. Yeah.
Yeah, but, all right. And that's what I mean. Like, your thought process is we're making an EP, not we're making a single, and we'll see in another couple months when we have something else for you.
Right. Yeah.
Correct. I think it's exactly what he was saying, the social media algorithms.
You got to stay relevant. You got to stay in people's feeds. I mean, that's the thing. I usually
post about something multiple times, the same exact thing, just at different times of the day, in different days, because it does sometimes take 3 or 4 posts to reach everyone that you know. And same goes with the band page. So the singles kind of help, I guess, hype up the EP. They bring people to your band page, so that way the algorithm can do its work. It's having people who are visiting your band page multiple times in a predetermined amount of time. So they're more likely to show up when you drop the full thing, I guess, is kind of the very basic idea. And with Spotify, I know for a fact that you can people do it in singles, because you can submit every single to a playlist, like to hopefully make it onto one of the big Spotify playlists. So I know that we released 2 singles personally, so that way we could submit the 2 singles and then a 3rd song off the EP to those playlists. So that's a little bit of the thinking, but it is an EP, and that's how it started. It wasn't necessarily all of that. That kind of came later.
Yeah. I love the thought process, and that's, and that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for you were creating something as a whole instead of creating a song. And that's, I think that's what being an old man in this world, as I feel I am half the time, is that, someone creating one song and getting it out there, and if it doesn't catch, they're just like, yeah, I'm not going to make anything else. But having that aspiration to create a total, the sum of the parts equal your EP, is awesome to have that whole thing come together. So I thank you for that as a band.
Oh, no problem. I appreciate the compliment. That's awesome.
So we're going to come in on our time. I don't want to keep you very long. So my final introspective question for you guys, and it may be different for either of you. So I'd like an answer from both of you. If someone had never heard the band Capital Vices, and you needed to give them one song that you have already recorded, what would you give to them to say, this is our band?
No, I don't know. What are you thinking?
I would probably give them. I feel like Gemini kind of has the most of either Gemini or Cancer has the most of everything. But Cancer kind of almost fits into the kind of it's practically the ballad of the EP. But so I would say Gemini, for me, Gemini is the most kind of well-rounded and has kind of all the aspects that we kind of try and display. Whereas some of the other songs on the album might be more focused on a certain area or a certain vibe. But Lathan, what do you think?
Gemini is definitely up there for me. It's probably between Left Alone, Gemini, and Virgo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Although probably, I guess I'm going to have to agree with Matt Watkins, Gemini, because it is the most well-rounded, I think, and exemplifies probably the most variety of what we do. There's breakdowns, there's riffs, there's fast drums, there's singing, and then there's a weird time modulation thing at the end, and some dissonance. And yeah, I think it's a well-rounded song.
Cool. Yeah, you were very close to what I have given to people of yours, and my first one is Left Alone, and then it's Gemini followed by Leo. So that's
heck yeah. Leo's fun.
Yeah, it's a fun song. That's why I said when I first heard Gemini and I first listened to the full EP, I was just like, yeah, Gemini's awesome. And then I started really diving into everything about every song. That's what I do. I deconstruct every instrument and vocals, and I'm just like, all right. And then I went to Leo, and it was just, I don't know, that hit me. But one day Cancer hits me, and then next day Taurus. So I don't know. It's hard. Fucking music is hard, man.
No, that's cool. I mean, that kind of sounds to me like it's well-rounded, and I appreciate that kind of result from you listening to our stuff. That's awesome.
What would you say now? Let's say Capital Vices is, tomorrow one stops. Hope to God it doesn't. But what would you want Capital Vices to be most remembered for?
If the band stopped or the world stopped.
Well, if let's say all at once, and someone found tablets later on, and what would you want people to most remember Capital Vices for?
Most remember us by?
Yeah.
I don't know. It sounds generic, but playing in a Wendy's, I don't know.
Okay.
Or either that or
maybe live presence.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that would be equal to just this was a good band live, maybe some of our live videos are better sounding ones.
All right. Good answer. All right. So
Kind
we're
of half
going to
took maths, but yeah.
we're going to come in on our time. So I have one last question for
right.
each of you to answer individually. We end our episodes with our weekly threes. It's 3 things you're listening to right now that you would want someone to check out. It can be new, it can be old, it could be hair metal that you're listening to right now. Whatever it is. And I don't mean to shit on hair metal. I did have Tom Beaujour and Richard Beanstalk, who just wrote a New York Times bestseller on the hair metal era because it's their favorite genre. So I'm not shitting on hair metal. Please don't come after me, hair metal police, or Tom or Richard. I love you both. But 3 things you're listening to right now. Mr. Lathan, you can go first. If you got to pull up your Spotify playlist, that's what most people do. But 3 things, could even be an audiobook. Who the fuck knows? But 3 things you're listening to right now you'd like people to check out.
I've been listening to Darko. It's a project between the drummer of Amir and Spite and the vocalist Tom Barber of Chelsea Grin. That's awesome. It's just like sonically, it's just noise, but it's like the lowest tuned guitar I've ever heard, and it absolutely is crushing. That's probably my top thing right now. The second one I would say is I've been listening to a couple tracks off the Era self-titled metalcore band Era. Memory Fiction, probably my most notable song off that EP. And then I think I would also say I'm digging the new Humanity's Last Breath a bunch. Their new album, Valde.
Okay. Awesome.
For me, let's see, it's probably been. I've been listening to this bit. I've really been on a progressive metal kick. So one of the bands I've been listening to a bunch recently is called Vola, Vola. They're a Swedish-Danish band. Really cool, massive sound, but like super heavy, but like with mostly just like clean and soaring vocals. So it's a really nice contrast.
She's still Danish?
She's still Danish. I've been going back to the Haken album, The Mountain, just because that thing is kind of a masterpiece from beginning to end. I mean, I always had a hard time kind of getting into like Dream Theater, which is very strange considering the rest of my tastes, but I feel like Haken is like almost like the more accessible version of Dream Theater for me.
I like how you put that.
Yeah. And then actually one of my coworkers recently showed me the album Maximum Security by Tony McAlpine. It's like a shred album from the 80s. And I don't know, it's awesome. It's right up my alley. It's something I would have loved when I first started playing, and it's something that I love now. It's got a lot of cool different elements in it, some neoclassical elements in some tracks, more just kind of rock or bluesy on some of the other ones. So I've definitely been listening to a bunch of that recently too.
Awesome. Good 3s by you guys. My 3s for this week are with the recent loss of their bassist Caleb. Jumped back into As Friends Rust. Forgot how good they were, and it's sad that when tragedy like that happens, brings me back to something that I should be listening to more often anyway.
Yeah.
Next is Misery Signals, recent 2020 release of Ultraviolet.
Nice.
Was so stoked that after 5 years, got something new from them, and also the fact that I'm going to get to see them at Furnace Fest. Excited about. So been listening to Misery Signals, Ultraviolet. Then a newer band called Sleep Token.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, I almost mentioned them.
Yeah, British prog metal, alt rock. I mean, all I have to say for anybody out there, our listeners, for fuck's sake, that's what I have to say about Sleep Token.
Backed.
Worship.
Like, unfucking believable. I don't know how it took me to this point to find them, but I always use my music barometer as my wife.
Mhm.
And if I'm playing something and she goes, "What the fuck are you listening to?" And I go, "It's Band Sleep Token I found." She goes, "This is amazing." I'm just like, I found something. So Sleep Token. Undowning is the name of the album. It's
what's your favorite track from that? Because I'm familiar with that entirely.
Holy shit! It's the second song is the one I think that
The Offering.
Yeah, the Offering that brings together what it truly is as a band. It mixes the most amazing vocals you can get with that awesome Deftones low bass driven. It's fucking unbelievable. So everyone go check out Sleep Token and Capital Vices. So guys, I want to thank you so much for being here this week. Take this opportunity, please, now to tell our listeners how to find all your stuff. And if they want to get in touch with you, your Instagram, your Facebook, all that shit. Now's the time. If you could, please let everybody know how to find you.
Okay. Yeah, we are on Facebook under Capital Vices. Should be the only one called that. I've never seen anything else pop up for that. But we are also on Instagram at Capital Vices IL for Illinois. That's our Instagram. And then we do have our merch store on both of those, Facebook and Instagram. We have merch up for sale. We ship ourselves. You can contact us at any time if you have any issues with your shipments, but we take care of all of that. So other than that, we're on Spotify and pretty much every streaming service you can think of under the same title, Capital Vices. So you can check us out whenever, give us those fractions of cents to check us out.
Every little bit helps.
Yes. So that's about all we got for now. Yeah. In terms of social media presence.
Well, Matt Squared, thank you guys so much for being here. Everybody, listen to Capital Vices. Go out and have a great fucking time. Thanks again for tuning into the Hidden Tracks podcast. We hope you enjoyed this week's show. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at HiddenTracks99. Also, send all your submissions to myhiddentracks99@gmail.com. Tune in next week. You may find your new favorite band. And don't forget to go out and have a great fucking time.